I think I have to go with the Florida Panthers in this third spot. And I know that there are a lot of question marks with Florida, even though they had a brilliant season last year, absolutely filled the net, 122 points, like you said earlier, Chad, to win the President's Trophy. A disappointing postseason for them. They were scared by the Capitals, but got by them. Their first round series win since '96, but then were embarrassed by their big brothers in Tampa, or in Florida, the Tampa Bay Lightning. So they make the biggest trade of the summer. Matthew Tkachuk comes in, Weegar and Huberdeau out. Ben Sherratt didn't really work out there. They've added some forwards looking for an opportunity. Colin White, just to name one. Now I do have a little bit of concern with this back end, but Aaron Ekblad has proven that when he's healthy, he can be a top 5 defenseman in the NHL. And so I think that if he can stay healthy, if guys like Forsling and Montour can play top 4 minutes consistently for this team, and if they can get good goaltending again by not just Officer Bob, but Spencer Knight as well, who surprisingly got that 3-year extension at a 4.5 AAV, I think the Panthers will be in good shape, and Matthew Tkachuk is a hell of a player, even though I think we all agree that Calgary won that trade. So I think Florida is going to be all right. They won't be world beaters like last season, but I've got them in the third spot in this division.
Yeah, I hemmed and hawed where I should put this team. Honestly, 3 to 7 here. Shuffle the deck, and I'd be fine with what comes out. I thought hard about putting Florida in 4 or maybe 5 because I think that they've taken a large step back here. They have a lot of players go out, a lot of trade deadline acquisitions gone. Their coach is now the Devils' assistant coach. Thank you very much. I don't know. I think this team's taken a step back, and it's really visible on the back end for sure. I used to fear playing this team, but I think that there's going to be a lot of holes to poke in here. And on top of that, I don't think they're going to be scoring 4 goals a game with this offense anymore. So they really won a lot of games with their offensive power, and I don't think that that's going to be the case as much. So I do have this team taking a step back, but not too far because I did land at 3 with them.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you guys. I also have them in the 3 spot, expecting them to take a bit of a step back just because of some of the things you guys mentioned, some notable subtractions to this team, not very many additions. We talk about the fact that they lost Claude Giroux and the fact that they lost Ben Sherratt. Those were deadline acquisitions that they weren't able to get signed. But think about the fact that they also lost everything that was included in those trades to get them in the first place. And Owen Tippett is a guy who won't be there to provide depth scoring if they need it. So, not only are they missing Giroux, but they don't have Tippett, and they have nothing to show for it either. So, Case, I agree with you that their back end is not very scary anymore. Harp, I thought it was interesting that you pointed out Spencer Knight's contract, because now the Panthers are paying almost $15 million for their 2 goalies, and they're both still at this point in their careers a bit of a question mark for different reasons. Knight because he's young, and Bob because of inconsistency over time. So I don't love that $15 million for those 2 guys. And then in terms of them scoring this year, in terms of their offense, I think they're still going to be good. Adding Matthew Tkachuk, who is over a point per game player, isn't nothing, but losing Huberdeau is significant, and you hope that Tkachuk can come in and do the same kind of magic, but it's just not going to be the same. And think about all the games that they won last year when they were trailing. When they were trailing by a goal, I think they won, or trailing by a goal going into the third. I think they won 10 or 12 games or something. And, you just might not be able to do that without a game breaker like Huberdeau. Even though you can argue that Tkachuk is a game breaker, I think he is for different reasons and in different ways. So maybe the scoring will take a step back there. And that's kind of what I'm expecting. They're going to be a good team, but repeating 122 points would be absurd. So they're going to definitely take a step back, and the 3 spot seems like the perfect spot for them.
Yeah, I think a big thing with Bill Zito's club as well. By the way, they have a new head coach in Paul Maurice. We should mention that as well.
Weird.
Yeah, I did not see that coming. I thought he was finished after leaving Winnipeg, but yeah, Maurice in Florida. Clearly, they wanted some experience, and clearly they wanted to be a tougher team to play against. I think they felt like they got pushed around by Tampa Bay. They're big brothers in the Sunshine State, and obviously they're going to be a tougher team to play against with a guy like Matthew Tkachuk. So, Panthers definitely will take a slight step back, but not too far down the line, and they're in that 3 spot.